Hello, my name is Scott Taylor, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Nancy Pax Inc. Comp Report template and version 7.2. Today is January 28th, 2013, and today we are going to do what is called a quick report. Basically, this is going to be taking a set of data and getting to a report as quickly as possible. Do not stop and make any changes to the data, just get from data to report. So one thing to note, I am running a Mac environment, as you can see. If you are running a Mac, you need to be running Parallels Desktop up here. You can see Parallels Desktop, or running Boot Camp. If you are running a Mac, it will not work on Excel for Mac. It needs to be an Excel for Windows report. So again, run Parallels, and then you can run your Windows environment on your Mac, and everything is good. Okay, so over to the comp template itself. We're going to open comp template 7.2. This happens to be beta 8. I run beta tests as I add new features in the back. You won't see the beta 8 part, you'll just see the 7.2. If you're running 7.1 currently, excuse me, if you're running 7.1 currently or 7.0 currently, that's fine. The instructions here are basically the same. If you are running if you're from the future and running version 7.3 or 7.4 maybe, again, the instructions should be identical to those that you find here. Everything should run the same. Okay, so the first thing that we will do before we take a look at anything, always save it to a new name or new folder, or excuse me, a new file, because you don't want to override the template and have to re-download it. It's a pain. So we're going to do Chelsea Rentals. Coming aboard Chelsea Rentals, and today is the 28th of January. First things to note. Up on the upper right hand side you see created by me, Scott Taylor, updated the 28th of January, that's the day. Compatible with TST version 2.1 and later. This is important. If you are running TST reports, you need to know that this is only compatible with 2.1 and later. If you don't know what I'm talking about, again, you can find out in other videos or email. Compatible with Windows XP and MS Excel 2003 and later. Anything before Windows XP probably shouldn't even be run anyway on a computer, but if it is, it will not be compatible. I would recommend running a Windows 7 environment at least, just for the expediency and for there's some features that are much faster in 7 than they were in XP and Vista, so the template will know which version you're using and run the processes accordingly. I'd recommend being the latest versions of all things possible. It just will run the fastest and best. Okay, so before we get started, we're going to need data. So conveniently, I've already done 2 searches on Street EZ and found Chelsea Rented attended and Chelsea Available attended. So I'm going to open those. There's my Chelsea Available and my Chelsea Rented. So now I have these 2 sets of data open, and yep, they look good. I think I'm going to import those. All right, so now I'm back to my template. Let's say I'm preparing a report for Mr. John Smith, and this is me. This is today. It'll automatically populate. We're going to report right here. You're just going to write the parameters of your search, basically how you found it. It could be stylistically currently available and rented within the past year. It could be an entirely different type of search that you ran. I just wanted to say this is what I searched for. So in my case, currently available in units rented within the past year, attended lobby rental buildings. Area, now this could be a geographic coordinate, it could be a building list. You could say, I searched these specific 10 buildings, Chelsea, or it could be, as this case, West 14th Street to West, I think we did 2nd Street, let's call it, 5th Avenue to Hudson River. Obviously, you're going to want to be exact on this, and you'll know your search. I'm just not going to go back and look while doing this presentation, but that'll be the area. It could be a building list. It could be, all of Manhattan. It could be all of Queens, whatever it is. Folder for the mix table. This is important. You should know where your mix tables are. You should have a group of mix tables. If not, email me or someone from the MPI team, and we will get them to you. But this is going to be a locally stored locally stored folder full of files that are building specific that you don't have to touch. You just have to know where they are. Store it locally. Do not go over a network because it'll take too much time. The template is going to go out to these mix tables and pull out data from them. And I'll explain a little bit more about that later. But you want to make sure you know where this is, and definitely store it locally on your desktop, as I did, or in your My Documents, or somewhere on your actual machine itself. Okay, project type, we are doing a rental report today. You could also do a sale report. Excuse me. These are the import instructions. You don't need to pay attention to them because I'm giving you the instructions. Likewise, these two things over here you don't need to worry about for now. Just know that they're there. Okay. Paste values and select a file. These are the two ways in which you could bring data into the report. Paste values is exactly what it seems. You're going to go to another Excel document, copy all of this, select all this data, Control-C, copy over here, paste values. I like this one-click method that I have put into the program. Those two documents that you remember we opened, Chelsea Available Attended, Chelsea Rented Attended, those are open. You click on them one time and click Yes, and it automatically goes to that file that is open, pulls that data into the template, and is ready to use it. Same thing here. We're going to do Chelsea Rented. It's going to go out, pull all of those listings into the template, and they'll be ready to use. That's it. That's as easy as it is. File, save the document. Always save the document after you import the data. If something goes wrong, if your template is running slow, your computer runs slow, and it should hiccup and crash, then it just saves you another step of having to go back, reopen the documents, blah, blah, blah. So, simplicity. When I click on parameters, now you can see the cursor is spinning. It is beginning to run. It's taking all of that imported data and comparing it against all of the different variables that you see on your screen, as well as a number of other different variables. Basically, it's just taking a look at each individual listing and seeing if it's worthy of going into the report. We could adjust all of this stuff, but we're going to assume, in the case of a quick report, that the data that we pulled is exactly the data that we want to flow through. We don't want to screen anything out. Everything is in there exactly as we want it. Or, if you wanted to screen things out, I don't want co-ops, blah, 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 you could go and do that. But we're just going to go down now and get it out. One quick thing, if you know a specific building that you don't want in the listing, so let's say I don't want 119 West 22nd, and let's say I don't want Chelsea Tower. You see I double click on this check mark, and they pop over here to this red area. That means they're not included in the report. If you decide later, oops, Chelsea Tower is a pretty important building, let me include that, double click on the X, and it pops back over. Okay, that's it. We're ready to run a report. I always throw a little quick save in there before I go. Do the same, just saves you one extra step. Now, I click report. This process is going to take a little bit of time, depending on the amount of data that you're importing and the speed of your machine. This process could take anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 or 3 minutes. My machine is running moderately slowly today, so it's going to take about a minute and a half. But as it goes through this process, it's comparing each individual listing with these parameters right here, as well as against the mixed tables that we talked about earlier, where they have specific square footage, bedroom size, etc. for each individual unit. So what you'll find is, we saw one of the buildings I think we had there was Chelsea Tower. If we have a mixed table for Chelsea Tower, which I believe we do, it's going to go through unit by unit and say, oh, unit 4A, the broker has it listed as a one bedroom for 600 square feet. Oh, the mixed table actually has it as a studio for 500 square feet. The template will override that data and give the accurate data, the data that we have independently researched and verified and know is accurate. This is most often the case I've found with brokers who will list a unit as a 2-bedroom unit that is actually a 1-bedroom convertible, or maybe a 1-bedroom unit that is actually a studio, an alcove studio that you can convert. Basically, they're for marketing purposes marketing it as a 2-bedroom. But if you were to have it as a 2-bedroom in your comp report, it would drag down your 2-bedroom pricing significantly, including basically large 1-bedroom prices in your studio prices, and it would drag that that data down. So this, as we see here, is our final report. We have the cover, the building summary, and the listings. It's pretty straightforward. Rent of all units and total units. These two pieces of data here look at all units irrespective of square footage. These 4 columns look at only units that have square footage. Days on market is all the units and their average days on the market. And this is a floor adjusted square footage, which is primarily used for the TST, but can also just be an informative piece of information, which basically says these units that are currently available were normalized for the center of the building, that is the midpoint vertically of the building. So that is, you look at different reports over time, month over month, it basically takes out the variability of, say, I have a bunch of high floor units this month, or I have a bunch of low floor units this month. It normalizes those to make a comparison over time. If you do not find that you need any columns, click on the right click, hide, disappears, you never have to see it again. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Same thing, building summary is formatted identically to the cover page, but obviously separated by each individual building, listed in order of address. Again, straightforward. You'll notice that at the end of your listing, at the end of your data, it automatically formats the printing to only include the rows that are specific to your data. Same thing with the listings page. Everything that you ever wanted to know about each individual specific listing is right here, waiting for you. Again, you can hide columns, whatever, and that's that. From here, if you wanted to go back to parameters and start removing something, maybe one of these slipped through the cracks that was unattended. It was supposed to not have been included in your StreetEasy search, but came through. Double-click that. We're not going to. We're just going to go back to our report. It's ready to go. I'm going to control-click these 3 tabs. Go to print. Now I've got a 16-page report, looking really pretty. Ready to go. I think everything's kosher. Looks good. I'm going to print it up or save it to a PDF, and you can save it to send it as an attachment, create a PDF, however you want to do it. Send it to my Mr. John Smith, and he'll be ready, waiting for it. So if you have any questions on that, that was the MPI Comp Report template version 7.2. Again, that was a quick report. So there's a lot more things that you could do with it, but that'll get you started. If you have any questions or need a further explanation on how I went through this process or the ways in which I could have done it differently, or if you run into glitches, please send me an email, staylor@nanspacksinc.com, and I'll be happy to help. Otherwise, have a good day and happy comping.